review it. Unless anyone has a real compelling reason why they want to be, they've made some decisions, let's discuss that. But I'm okay either way. If we want to assign them now because everybody's looked at it carefully and made those decisions, that you're going to pretty much be assigned a specific objective to see it to completion. Any comments from Commissioner Miller?
No, sir.
Commissioner Young?
No.
Vice Chair Marston?
No comment.
Secretary Scully?
No comment right
Commissioner Williams?
None.
Commissioner Sverchek?
None.
Okay, I'll open it to the public for any comments related to the annual objectives that are being proposed. Seeing none. Oh,
Sandy Manich, mooring permit A193, liveaboard permit as well. I object to the Harbor Commission approval process because it's not complying with the state mandate to have this taken care of by July. We've been waiting a year for the rates to not be discriminating against mooring permittees.
thank
And
you
it hasn't
again.
been addressed.
Again, you're addressing an issue that is not related to the objectives. So please, I must ask you to refrain. It's very,
Can you post the objectives,
No, I'm-
please? What are they?
you have them in the packet. They are posted. They were posted on Friday. So they're available. There's a packet out in the front lobby. Please feel free to.
When will public comment be ready? Because I've been sitting here for 30 minutes through this residential pier talk.
Yeah, well, we've had public comments at the beginning of the meeting, ma'am, and there'll be another meeting next month where you can address this commission during the public comments,
It's at the
which
beginning.
are always the first thing to be done at a meeting. Thank you. Okay. I would like to make a motion to approve the annual objectives for 2026 as shown in our report, and the actions is exempt from CEQA. Okay.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 7.2 is the ad hoc committee updates, and we have remaining 2 established ad hoc committees to provide further review of issues that have arisen out of the adoption of the Harbor Commission objectives or at the request of City Council. So at this time, the ad hoc committees will update the Harbor Commission on their progress, and I will bring it to Commissioner Scully with respect to the Balboa Ferry Ad Hoc Committee and Commissioners Sverchek and Young, if you have any updates.
I have no further update at this time. No update.
Seeing none, we'll move to the ad hoc committee that is dealing with Harbor Commission objectives. So I can say that I can declare that ad hoc committee complete. I'd like to have it removed. And with that, I'll open this up for any public comments. I think the commissioners are all fine, so any comments to that? Seeing none, this is just a receive and file action. We'll move on to the Harbor Commission 2024 objectives, which are actually obsolete as of this meeting. So I will, as a matter of consideration, I will say that there were about five actual objectives that remained, and I'll offer any commissioners with respect to those items if you'd like to announce anything related to that. It's just probably your last opportunity to do it, so I'll just go down the dais and ask if you've got anything else to add to those. Commissioner Sverchek? Commissioner Williams? Secretary Scully?
I do one. I've worked with, a little bit with Harbor Master Blank and been, using AI and trying to come up with a video and a test for the rental safety objective that we talked about. Harbor Master Blank, I think, using the video that you had produced, I think is perfect. And we have some work to do on the questions and the format and stuff, but I think it's coming along, in my opinion. So hopefully in the next Harbor Commission meeting, we can take a look at kind of a sample of what it looks like and get some feedback from the commission and and make sure that we're on target. But I personally like it. I think it's a kind of an interesting next step for the harbor and harbor safety. So more to come in our next meeting.
Yeah, I enjoyed that presentation and discussion last time very much. So it sounds like you'll probably be joining on the new Objective 4.1, which specifically addresses that.
Yep.
Commissioner Miller? Commissioner Young? Vice Chair? Nothing? Okay. So again, that's also an action that is just no actions needed. We'll file it. And now, for the always long-awaited Harbor Master update, and I would like to say that our Harbor Master oversees. City Harbor Department is responsible for the management of the city's mooring fields in Balboa Yacht Basin Marina, provides invaluable support for the Harbor Commission, municipal code enforcement, safety and rescue operations, management of Marina Park, and much, much, much more, for which this commission is extremely grateful. Mr. Harbor Master.
Good evening, Commissioners and Chair Barrett. It is a pleasure to be with you. As always, I'm Paul Blake, your Harbor Master, and it is my pleasure to present the activities the Harbor Department engaged in the month of April. The report is organized in the manner of our mission, clean, safe, well enjoyed. But before I get to the meat of my report, I'm going to turn it over to Chris Miller to talk about dredging. Thank you, Mr. Blank. I'll just do a quick update on where we're at with our dredging project. On the screen is the current configuration of where we're at. This map is updated on a weekly basis. The green area represents where we've completed our dredging, and we have completed all of the material that needed to go to the Port of Long Beach has been taken to the Port of Long Beach, and so we met that goal, and we were about 5 weeks early before that goal, so that is wonderful news. So now we are working in the yellow area in the Newport Harbor Yacht Club mooring field. And I know there's a lot of colors on here. Yellow means where we're currently working. Purple means we're getting there in a couple weeks. Blue means we're not there yet. And green means we're done. So as the project progresses, it will slowly turn green, and that's our goal. The project started in early December, and it should be done around late September. So we are going to go through the summer season. We do coordinate closely with our harbor friends and partners in all the yacht clubs, sailing organizations, charter boats, and so on and so forth. And as a reminder, the dredge can be hailed on Channel 1. They are very responsive and receptive, and they'll do what they can to accommodate. And I've asked them to be conscientious starting about now with the late afternoon regatta season that the yacht clubs have from now till basically September, and to be cognizant, to have their tug captain be cognizant of making hailings on the radio in that 5-6 o'clock hour, so that everybody knows if they're transiting the harbor during one of our important races on weekdays. If you have any questions, happy to entertain.
Yeah, thank you, Chris, and really great collaboration that you're doing with the Corps, because management of this is no easy task. You make it look easy, but it's not. So thank you. Commissioner Storchek, any questions?
No questions.
Commissioner Williams?
No. Yeah, just first of all, Chris, I mean, just to the whole team, what a great job to get, have the opportunity to move the product to Long Beach and meeting the timelines. I think it's been a great win for residents and people on the water at Newport Beach is huge, and not having to deal with the CAD and all the challenges that came along with that. So I think it's very, very important that the recognition from the Harbor Commission for a job well done should you pass that along to the entire team that's part of that. I did have a resident contact me and ask me about the Linda Isle dredge, and they dredged around the slips, but they didn't dredge in the center of the areas. He's saying they didn't.
No, they did dredge. Okay, they did not dredge in the exact center the precise center of the horseshoe,
Okay.
but they dredged in the channel around the center. In other words, they left a mound
Oh, okay.
for eelgrass purposes.
Got it.
But a fairly wide, I'll call it a channel, on the outside of the docks, inside the horseshoe, if that makes sense. So they left a pitcher's mound, in kind of.
Do you know what the depth of that is?
Of the mound itself?
Yeah.
No, but I know that at a low tide, you'll go aground.
Okay.
Not but. They have finished or close to finish the inside of it, as I just stated. Now they're working on the 25 or so individual
Right.
private homeowners
Right.
who have raised their hand to dredge.
So that's not, is that public waterway there, or that's private property?
It's private waterways, because remember, Linda Isle was once all land,
Right.
Sharktooth Island. And the waterway all around Linda Isle is a combination of ownerships.
So we don't need, as a harbor department, to inform the public about the depth of the water there in the center?
No, but I would think it'd be prudent for Linda Isle Association to put a shoal buoy there if they don't already have
I
it.
agree. I agree. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair?
Now, in Linda Island, there's white markers in there right now. Is that what they're depicting?
I'm not sure what's in there.
There's quite a few of them that kind of cover around the center. So
Maybe those
they're
are-
not marked, they're thin. They're like PVC pipe or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's post-dredging or pre-dredging or demarcate. I don't know.
That's all.
Thank you. Commissioner Young? Commissioner Miller?
Chris, I just had a quick question. I don't know if you have available. In a previous couple of weeks, I saw a slide of where you were putting the material in Long Beach, and the scope and scale of that blew me away. I don't know if you have that available on your slide deck there, but if you looked where all our material was going, you realize how they can take so much. So I want to thank you for your hard work, and it just blew me away when I saw where you're putting it. So thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, it is a large slip. Today we were talking about residential slips. Consider putting in two 18,000 container ships, in a single slip. That's the scope that we have.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. We can move on with the Harbor Master report.
Once again, good evening, Paul Blank, your Harbor Master. I'll do my best to include an image of that slip that's being filled in Long Beach in next month's presentation. Okay, on to the regularly scheduled clean, safe, and well-enjoyed activities for the month. Discharge by a local boatyard, which was first observed by a passerby, was referred to us, and we responded quickly and provided a stop work order and a citation for illegal discharge by boatyard. There has been a continuous focus on suspected unpermitted liveaboards. We're spending a lot of resources on that currently. We executed a very complex impound and removal of an unpermitted liveaboard in April. Some of you may have seen the results of that, which was a small mastless sailboat that ended up on the beach on the peninsula. Very complex, very challenging, consumed a huge amount of resources, but we're happy that the unpermitted liveaboard is no longer in the harbor and that the boat has been removed. We removed several instances of mooring for sale signs from several beaches. We had several complaints about that, and we quickly collected them. We also worked with the advertiser to clarify what signage is allowed and what signage is not. And I'm pleased to report that the Trash Rover completed its first successful, completely autonomous mission. A big win for us, and a special thanks to Dockmaster Nick Gauchi, who really figured out the flight software for the rover and made it all happen. The images you see on the right are the stop work order for the yard that was discharging into the harbor. One of those unpermitted, disallowed, illegal signs for a mooring for sale in the middle, and then the route for that autonomous addition for the trash rover there. In terms of keeping the harbor safe, we advise several swimmers of the hazards of the nearby dredging activity. Some of you may have known that the beach at Mother's Beach or Marina Park was open and accessible, but access to the water where the dredging activity was going on from that beach was cut off with proper notice, with proper signage, etc. It did not deter people, it deterred most people. It did not deter all people from actually attempting to enter the water while dredging activity was going on very nearby. But we enlisted the help of some of the CERT team volunteers to help us keep that area very safe. Also a big win for the Harbor Department, a disabled rental vessel was rescued by a very alert harbor safety officer who towed them to safety. That's the image in the upper portion of the image. He towed them to safety at a public dock and then proceeded to conduct an investigation and inspection of the vessel for the proper safety equipment, etc. It did not have all the safety equipment that it needed, and the customers in that particular case had not received what we deemed necessary as education on safe navigation in the harbor. That resulted in a very pointed conversation with the new rental concession operator, and we continue ongoing discussions with that rental company operator to ensure safe navigation for their customers throughout the harbor. Several other sailboats that have become disabled in one way or another were assisted into various locations, including that sailboat you see on the right-hand side that was safely deposited into a slip in Marina Park after its sole occupant was unable to control the vessel or get it safely into a berth. And then, we participated in a mass casualty incident drill at Marina Park, orchestrated by the City of Newport Beach Police Department, but featuring City of Newport Beach Fire and Lifeguards, City of Huntington Beach Fire and Lifeguards. There was no Coast Guard representation because they were still on furlough, but a great drill nonetheless. In terms of keeping the harbor well enjoyed, we are spending some time and effort looking into some software that will help us with enforcement on the public time limits. That is an activity that consumes a huge amount of our resources. It's important that we do it diligently, consistently, and robustly, and we just like to see if there are tools, we'd like to see if there are tools that can help us do that better. We have a proposal on the table from a vendor that thinks they can help us, and we may do a pilot project later in the year. We did conduct a small vessel auction with some of the vessels that you see in the upper image there and collected $1,407 as a result of it. The Ensenada race participants, as well as the yacht club groups, kept the Marina Park Marina very well occupied. That's the image you see in the lower right. It was very, very busy at Marina Park all month long in April, and we're very pleased that it was enjoyed. Interesting story. A new rental concession has been approved and received their marine activities permit in an area that has very limited parking. That would otherwise not qualify. Like, we would not have gotten the appropriate zoning clearance letter to issue that marine activities permit for that operator without some very collaborative and outside-the-box thinking by both the operator as well as the community development department. It boils down to, and it's a lot more complicated than I'm saying, but it boils down to that operator is offering discounts to customers that prove they arrived there via rideshare and are not consuming parking. And we'll see how it goes. It's conditional approval. It does not need to be renewed. We can make changes as we go forward, but a very innovative and collaborative happy ending, a story with a happy ending. Some odds and ends. I'm very pleased to brag about an article published in the April 9th, 2026 edition of The Log, Southern California's voting magazine authority. I quote for you from this article on Newport Harbor. Newport Harbor is widely regarded as one of Newport Beach's defining features, and for both residents and visiting boaters, it stands out as one of the most well-managed recreational harbors in the country. I contributed in no way, shape, or form to this article. The journalist did not reach out to me and did not seek comment or materials for this article. I did, however, send her a thank you note. Odds and ends. Most important thing I can share with you is that the stakeholder meeting for the process by which we will address all of the State Lands Commission's recommendations has been scheduled. The first stakeholder, there will be many, but the first stakeholder meeting has been scheduled for May 27th, 5 p.m. at the Oasis Senior Center. Please mark your calendars, please attend. In addition, some odds and ends featured. We did use, we have done 2 pilot tests with drone use in public dock enforcement and anchorage checks. We have one particularly skilled drone pilot on the department staff, but he's only part-time and he has other duties. So we appreciate his extraordinary efforts and what he's attempting to do to provide additional technology and efficiency in carrying out our public dock enforcement and anchorage checks. More to come on that. We did receive an anecdotal report that was very gratifying of improved water quality and especially water clarity in the coves. This is a waterfront property owner in the coves who reported she could see the bottom clearly at a medium tide. It was not a super low tide. For the first time in the more than a decade that she's lived back there. She was very appreciative of the efforts, especially as they related to dredging, and she credited the dredging with the improved water quality and especially the water clarity in front of her home, or on the bay side of her home. It's official. I've drafted the letter to release Bellport Management Group from their responsibility for managing the Balboa Yacht Basin, and the Harbor Department will take over management of the marina and garages effective June 1st. We do not have all the resources in place. We do not have technology, we do not have furniture, but we do have marina office space, and we have put up the signage. The signage is currently covered up because it hasn't been announced to the tenants. I suppose by including it in this report tonight, the tenants will be made aware that the Harbor Department will take over that management on June 1st. This is a project that took more than 3 years to get approved. It will save the city more than $175,000 a year to have the Harbor Department provide this service rather than the outside third-party property management company, and we expect that the service provided will be of benefit, that it will exceed the service provision the tenants are enjoying today. Lastly, the most amusing call of the month had to do with a vacant mooring, I think in the B field. The permittee called saying, why have you allowed a vessel to be on my vacant mooring? My vacant mooring is my vacant mooring, and though I have left it vacant for, I think, more than a year, I don't want another vote on it. We explained to the permittee that we have the right to make use of that mooring, and there's currently a dredging project that's forced us to relocate 80+ boats in the harbor, and we needed that mooring for some of those displaced boats, and then we showed him his signature on the mooring permit from recent times with a snip of the condition in that permit that says if you leave this mooring vacant for more than 30 days, we have the right to subpermit it. Statistics for the month of April, where there were 2,185 calls for service, 1,885 of them of which were mapped. There's the distribution and heat map of those calls for service, completely in line with our regularly scheduled activities. I remind you all that this map, and it is an interactive map, is available to the public at all times. They are welcome to play with the date ranges. They are welcome to click on the blue dots to figure out, or to get more detail on any of those calls for service. There is also a section that's off screen where you can filter by call type, call date, anything you want, from the smallest to the largest. You can go back in time. It's really a phenomenal feature, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. We continue to say that this map tells our story better than the Harbor Master sitting up here in Flatness does. The Harbor amenity map usage remains consistent with the 3 years prior. We're seeing good utilization of that map, and we continue to improve it. It has recently undergone an upgrade with the GIS mapping and some of the images that are in there, so we'll continue to encourage people to make use of that when they have questions about where to go in the harbor, where to find public resources, etc. Here's the permitting activity this year so far. We are on a brisk pace, well faster than our pace last year. I call your attention to harbor event permits issued thus far is 32, marine activities permits issued is 19, mooring permit transfers processed is 32, and then we look at last year where mooring permit transfers were not being tracked, so I don't have that statistic, but we're outpacing last year. The harbor events were 30 at this time last year, and the marine activity permits were only 14. An unfortunate statistic, but I'm obliged to share with you, the sub-permit revenue for this fiscal year is running significantly behind budget. You'll notice that over the course of the years, we have consistently exceeded budget, and we were handed a very large budget increase from last fiscal year to this year's fiscal year related to this specific form of revenue. And we sort of took our eye off this ball. We have not advertised, we have not encouraged, we have not welcomed people onto mooring sub-permits to the pace that we were expected to do, and that will end up in a revenue shortfall. Fortunately, that revenue shortfall is easily overcome by slip rentals at Marina Park and mooring permits. I'm sorry, not mooring permits, special events permits that we've done. So this is not a significant dent in our revenue budget. We will overall meet or exceed our revenue budget goals probably by 10%. This is just the one area that we took our eye off of, and we'll refocus on again next year when the opportunity permits. And I will say we still have May and June to try and make up this deficit, but we're just not going to get there, sorry. Pump out usage, just an interesting graph I include here a couple times a year. That is the pump out usage by location for the first 4 months of the year. You'll notice there was a dip in February, and that's because it's a short month. It's also because the weather was not particularly conducive to boating. We had a great March, and so a lot of people were out there using the pump out equipment, and we're very pleased about that. That was the Anchorage utilization calendar for the month of April. We had good utilization, but not as high as in March. We will continue to encourage people to use the West Anchorage. I remind you all that the East Anchorage is out of service due to the dredging activities. Lastly, a request was made. I can't remember whether it was at this meeting last month or whether it was subsequent, but one of the commissioners came to me and said, hey, can you give statistics on mooring extension requests through the years? And here is the table reflecting the amount of mooring adjustment size requests we have received and the actions taken on them. There was a moratorium on such things in 2021. The opportunity to apply for mooring extensions or adjustments reopened in 2022, and we had a total of 6 requests, 1 of which was approved, 5 of which were denied. You may recall that during that time we were still going through the process with the potential mooring realignments, and so a lot of hope was placed on that approval and the opportunity for mooring permittees to trade for desired sizes in the future. That has subsequently not come true, so we are not encouraging that anymore. In 2023, there were 4 extensions that were approved, none were denied. In 2024, there were 4 approved, 3 denied, and 1 reduction was applied for and granted. Last year in 2025, there were 9 approved and 4 denied for a total of 14. And this year so far, there have been 3 total requests, 2 of which were approved, 1 of which is denied. There are statistics and average, etc. on the bottom. The pace would seem to be about 7 per year. And it appears that we approve slightly more than we deny. And that's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Harbor Master. Any questions, comments? Commissioner Sorchak?
Yes, you mentioned a rental company. What kind of boats are they renting and where are they located?
Are you referring to the one that was granted a temporary permit because they don't meet the parking requirements?
Yes.
They will operate, they are not yet operating, but they will operate on Balboa Island near the ferry landing. And the vessel type? I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that. They're small rental vessels operated by the consumer. I don't know whether they are electric or outboard gasoline powered. I'm sorry, I just don't know.
Small boats.
Yeah, small 20-footers. And I believe the number is 4. I think they have 4 boats with a capacity of 26 guests.
Thank you.
Commissioner Williams?
Great job as always, thank you.
Secretary Scully?
Harbor Master Blank, we were and not just been you and I talking, I can't remember if it came up last meeting, but there was going to be a presentation from Harbor Code Enforcement, Gulf Barb on the, is it derelict boats or disposal of boats? Are we going to be able to get that at a future meeting?
The specific topic is a talk he gave at the California Boating Safety Officers Association meeting, and it has to do with how to rid your harbor of abandoned and derelict vessels.
Right.
There was not time and opportunity to fit that in to this meeting, given other priorities. It is on the anticipated agenda for your June meeting. So we will hear from Code Enforcement Officer of the Year, 2025 Code Enforcement Officer of the Year, Jeffrey Goldfarb, next month, unless some other priority derails our current progress.
We're waited with bated breath.
It's a good presentation, and he's
Right.
very good at it.
I'd like to see it. And then the drone you talked about, is this a city drone or is this a Harbor Department drone? What is it?
So there are two, the Harbor Department now has 2 drones, which were a gift from a generous donor. And I personally have a drone that I have made available to the City of Newport Beach Harbor Department. So there's a total of 3 in the hangar, if you will. They are not super high quality. They're, beginner drones, but we're making the most effective use of them that we can.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair Martha, any questions?
Are we allowed to attend the OASIS meeting?
I'm sure 3 of you are allowed to attend the OASIS meeting. There would be a concern about a Brown Act violation if all 7 or more than 3 of you attended. If you wanted to do that, there would need to be an announcement at the beginning of the meeting that says, this is not a Brown Act meeting. Although these harbor commissioners are here, they are not performing any business, they are not doing any business, they are not making any decisions, etc. I would advise against that. I would, if you can, talk amongst yourselves and decide which 3 of you can go, and then maybe rotate for the next one. There will be several opportunities to attend such meetings.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Young. Commissioner Miller.
In the last month, I've had probably 20 interactions with your harbor safety officers. They are incredible, so I just want to say thank you, and please thank your staff for being great stewards of our harbor and interfacing with boaters and fishermen, and I've seen them tow people to safety, so great jobs. Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you, Commissioners and Harbor Master. I will open this up for public comments related to the Harbor Master report.
Sandy Manage, mooring A193, permit holder and liveaboard permit holder for 15 years. And what I noticed in the report was a deficiency in the sublease, sub-permits, and that's for the moorings, correct? There is nowhere to put a dinghy to access a boat at the mooring. If you're trying to make the moorings attractive so that someone can rent them out, you have to share the public dock with fishermen. Last week, I was hooked by fishermen's garbage left on the public pier. It's an environmental hazard, but you force the mooring holders on the same public pier with fishermen overhead casting, even though they're not supposed to, but no one enforces the code. So I think it's going to be really difficult to entice sub-permits when there's no way to access the moorings unless you belong to a yacht club that has a taxi service. And the yacht clubs have very prohibitive deposits, $10,000 and up, in order to use a water taxi service. The moorings, there's 1,200 moorings. The services should be provided by the city as an enticement so that you can get your numbers up in the sub-permit category. And the other thing that I wanted to mention, as a liveaboard permit holder using the Washington Street dock for my 6-foot rowing dinghy that I share with the fishermen of the whole state of California that pay nothing to be there. That the other thing was that one of the slides said that you're going to get software to monitor the time usage